Oh, here he comes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Quentin
Fucking
Tarantino
love this guy.
making his way.
Raise
Making
that
his
for him,
way.
please. Yeah.
What was the death movie again?
Death
Death Proof. Yeah, because he talked about that recently.
Death Car.
Death car. Death proof. There he is. Usher Quentin Tarantino right in. Right in, sir.
Tarantino. Fuck yeah.
How you doing, man?
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
How you doing?
good
Good
to
see
you,
you,
buddy.
mate.
Pleasure.
How you
Wait,
been? Good?
Pretty good.
How do you guys know each other?
Well, I don't really know. I didn't know of him. I've seen his specials on HBO.
Son of a bitch.
And we did Leno together once.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you know, it is
pretty
just a
goddamn
couple of
cool.
guys who enjoy each other's
guys,
work, a couple of big
similar
stars.
ilk.
Yeah, men of similar ilk.
We just hate when people recognize him. We really don't like that at
It goes
all.
to his head. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I remember you on the Louis C.K. show that was on Showtime, I think.
HBO, yeah, Lucky
HBO.
Louie.
Yeah, and I had never seen you before when I saw you on that, and then I just happened to be turning the dial, I don't know, about 8 months later, and I saw I came in the middle of your stand-up special, and I pissed my pants.
Oh,
I thought
thanks,
it was
man.
so
man.
funny.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
God damn
great.
it.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
You know about your Golden Globes?
I just literally on the drive
Okay.
here about 3 blocks ago just found out
Damn,
about
I
that.
thought I was going to break it to you. Nominated for 5 Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
Wow, that's
For
fucking
Django.
Great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I think,
Yeah.
where it gets, it was one of the, Harvey Weinstein was saying, he was saying, okay, the turning point's going to be tomorrow. We'll see. We'll be in the game in a big way come tomorrow, and you want that, but you're also trying to manage expectations, so you're not totally bummed out when it doesn't happen. But this sounds like a pretty good year.
Is that and that stuff is still exciting to you?
Oh, it's totally exciting. Well, I worked real hard on the film and everything,
Right.
and actually, it's actually kind of fun to go to. It's fun to go to the Oscars. It's fun to go to the Golden Globes and have a good time with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Very
And to know that you're one of the guys that they're all focused on. It's got to be a little bit bummy if you're like there's no mention of you whatsoever. But when you're one of the guys, that's got to be even better.
Yeah. I mean, you have to keep perspective on it. I mean, some of my favorite movies have never been nominated or won anything. All right,
Yeah.
Good and the Bad and the Ugly wasn't there. All right, at the Golden Globes and wasn't there at the Academy Awards. I think it's the best movie ever made. Wild Bunch wasn't there at the Oscars. So you got to keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
Wait, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly didn't win anything for...
Nah, it was considered Italian junk.
Yeah, just
That's
a
true.
dumb little
Yeah.
spaghetti western.
Yeah,
as they-
exactly.
like
Yeah, it
the-
didn't become a classic till later.
Yeah, that is an amazing movie, too.
It's my favorite movie of
Absolutely.
all time.
It
actually,
really
yeah.
is, huh?
This reminded me of a Sergio Leone vibe too, because I saw Django last night, and the way the way it was filmed, like the colors of the film,
Absolutely.
and the head-on shots. Although there's a lot more blood in yours than there was in his.
Well, you like the blood there,
Yeah,
Quentin.
well, yeah, but in particular though, I was going off of a spaghetti western vibe of doing my western. That's probably my favorite subgenre in all of cinema is spaghetti westerns. I'm a big fan of them, and so I knew when I did my western, I would want it to have that kind of vibe, that kind of operatic music, and that whole larger than life aspect of it all.
Yeah, is it rough to go from genre to genre? You've done that. I mean, and very successfully. Crime movies, horror.
Yeah.
You've done pretty much it all. What do you have to really take a lot of time to adjust what you're doing?
Well, I think. Not really. I guess the adjustment happens during the writing of the script.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it might be actually a little different if I was going out there and just reading scripts and finding, oh, hey, here's a good Western I could do. Here's a good detective movie I could do. I mean, that might be a little different, or the process would start then. But no, the process starts with, like, literally the blank piece of paper, and me filling out 170 pages, all right, and having a script. So it all just comes down to the story.
Do you write longhand still, or
Absolutely.
You do? Why?
Can't write poetry on the computer, mate.
Wow.
You could creatively, you could think better if you just have the pen in your hand.
No,
right?
that's exactly. Well, that's how I've always done it. And it's I've kind of.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I believe in God, but I do feel that my pen is my antenna to God as far as writing is concerned. But actually, the way the process has kind of evolved though is I actually ignored this part of the process for like the middle point of my career and got back to it on Inglourious Basterds. And now I'm like, how could I have ever stopped doing this? Was when I wrote Reservoir Dogs, I wrote it out. And normally when I'd written something before, I couldn't type. I would talk friends into typing things up for me. Well, I used my last friend as far as that was concerned.
Enough of this.
Enough of this typing shit, all right? I'll drive you to the airport, I'll help you move, but fuck typing your shit. And fair enough. So in that case, I wrote Reservoir Dogs longhand, and I had to type it up. And I couldn't type, and I didn't even have a typewriter. I borrowed my girlfriend at the time her little Smith Corona word process from 1987. Her Smith Corona word processor / typewriter with like a little floppy disk with a memory of 30 pages on it. It's for college kids doing papers. And so I borrowed it, and I just typed it up one finger at a time, and that's how I did Pulp Fiction. And I kind of got away from that, and I went back to it again in Inglourious Bastards. Again, using her Smith Corona word processor. All right, I'm kind of superstitious about that. Also, it's idiot proof. I can't fuck it up on that thing,
That's true, yeah.
But literally, the whole process of me writing by hand, when I now have to type it up by one finger and just literally, I don't trust it to hold anything from memory, so I print up every page as I finish it.
Oh wow, good idea.
But it's that's an important part of the process to me. That's like that's the final draft coming out there. I mean, because I do tend to, I think people do. You tend to overwrite when you're writing by hand because it's just costs you nothing to just blah, 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 blah with the pen. But when you got to type it up with one finger, if the shit ain't motherfucking Shakespeare, it's got to go.
Never thought of it like that. Yeah. It better be important.
It better be good.
Typing stinks.
Oh, it's the worst.
Wow.
Did you write the script and then pitch to Harvey Weinstein, or did he say, I want you to write something about this, or did you say, I'm thinking about something with slavery, or how did that happen with him?
No, I never do a pitch kind of thing. The only reason you do pitches is if you're want to be paid for writing your script. I don't want to be paid for writing my script. I want people to buy my script. I want to, we're going to make this movie when I'm done. So I want to own it up until the financing is concerned. So I always write it on spec. I always just write it myself. It's mine. And so then I don't have to explain it. I don't have to sell anybody on it. I give them the script. They either like it or they don't. And the movie is right there. So you read it, it's, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And you're getting a lot of flack is like the Drudge Report because the word nigger was used a lot. And my take on it was used a lot, but it almost felt like in this day and age, it's such a shocking word that you desensitized people to it, which kind of fits that time. Like that is how it was used in that time.
Man, if 15 years from now they create if you don't want to hear the N-word, in 15 years from now, if they create time travel, don't go back to the antebellum South. It's kind of a fucked up time. And if you don't think it was used as much, if not more, and that actually kind of really is my answer to the question, is like, what, do you think that I overused it compared to how it was used in the antebellum South? Yeah. If not, shut up.
You showed how, I think it was
good
brilliant.
for you, by the way.
You showed how comfortably people, because to hear people saying that type of stuff with black people at the table, it's jarring, but that's how it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got you've got that whole upstairs downstairs situation going on with the house servants and then the people who live and the people who own the plantation, and you have like a kind of like the sort of like honor guards. They're standing behind every guest, waiting to those three girls that are behind the diners, and they're furniture. They're not people. They are furniture. They were referred to as furniture. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to do anything. They're not supposed to make any living things. It's just if somebody needs salt, they give salt. Take the plate away. Pour more wine. Just supposed to be furniture.
Yeah, it was really amazing when you show, because you would get like a huge laugh in the scene. I was amazed that you got laughs addressing slavery, and then the next moment it jumps to a tremendously sad moment. I think emotionally, I cried watching this movie.
Nice.
It's by far the most emotionally amazing thing you've done.
Thank you.
I couldn't believe how many different places you took me with it.
Well, I really like orchestrating orchestrating the audience's feelings and their emotions. Like, I kind of almost feel like if I'm doing my job to the fullest of my ability, I should be like
conductor.
Conductor, thank you.
Yeah.
I almost said painter. Shit.
Yeah. I should be like a symphony conductor, and the audience's reactions are my orchestra.
Wow, yeah.
And I mean, and now that's a heavy duty thing to want to try to do. And then when I get no response, at certain screenings, I know I have completely failed.
Wow.
Because there should be a laugh here, or there should be a this. But, to me, really part of the thrill is to just be mixing those emotions and taking you up and down, and especially trying to do it with comedy where it's like laugh. laugh, stop laughing, stop laughing, horror, suspense, laugh.
Yeah, that's got to be very difficult to do when you're writing something, because you can't just go from certain things into laughing. I mean, there's last night at the 12-12-12 concert, there was a prime example of a complete fuck up as far as that's concerned. They went from a filmed piece about some horrific, destruction and people losing their houses, and some woman is literally screaming and going, "And we lost everything!" And it stopped dead, and then the announcer goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rock." And it was like,
I felt the exact same thing. I was like, this poor bastard.
Oh, he's thinking, thanks a lot.
Yeah, and Chris is standing there like, what the fuck did you do to me?
What did I do to you?
Yeah. So there's got
the comedy stylist, Christopher Rock.
Yeah, it was terrible. So there's got to be some kind of, leading into
you gotta bridge
where
that
you're
stuff.
going. Yeah, bridge it, right. Yeah, you've always done that very, very well. And getting laughs out of things that are like horrific at the moment. The prime example, of course, you've heard it 1,000 times in Reservoir Dogs, the ear.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy gets his ear cut off. A horrific scene. And then when Michael Madsen starts to, hello, can you hear it? He's talking into the ear. You can't help but laugh as you're fucking horrified.
Right.
And since he's was last here, we've met Michael Madsen. He's nuts, right? you always knew, did you always know that he was nuts? We love him, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a very honest man.
He's gotten a little more nuts. I say that with nothing but love and affection.
Oh, yeah. So he had to tone it down to play Mr. Blue.
One of our favorite moments on the show, he came in and then he went through all his movies that he's done recently and explained why he did each movie.
Oh,
and it was brutal. It was like, I owed child support. This was for a mortgage. This was, I owed I don't know.
I would love if you guys could yank that out of the files for me. I would love to hear that.
Absolutely.
That sounds like
really funny.
Michael going through his straight to video filmography.
Oh, why he
would
did
be
them.
hysterical.
He didn't hold back at all, man.
Now he's
And it was the first time someone finally admitted that they actually do movies because they owe a little money. And they're like, all right, fuck it, I got to do this one.
He's a great guy.
No, we love him. Don't
I know.
Don't confuse the vibe.
I get. No, I'm not at all.
When we know he's coming in, we get very excited.
Yeah, it's obvious you guys have appreciation for
Love him.
When he's a great actor.
Growing up, obviously, you must have seen the blaxploitation movies. Who was in those? Because he played in
Rudy Ray Moore did a bunch of those.
Ghost of Nigger Charlie was one of them.
Oh, you mean Fred Williamson?
Yes, Fred Williamson.
No, it's called The Legend of Nigger
Legend,
Charlie.
right. Yeah. They made did they make a couple of those?
They made two of them. The Legend of Nigger Charlie and Soul of Nigger Charlie.
Soul, right.
Well, The Legend of Nigger Charlie was really kind of important. It's not a bad movie. It's hampered by the fact that it has almost no budget whatsoever.
Right.
But I mean, it was still released by Paramount. I think the Paramount logo cost more, than the movie. But it was unique and pretty much unique up until the time that this movie was made. It's the only movie that shows us that depicts a slave narrative where a slave gets a gun, kills overseers and leads a Western style revolt.
Right.
Not a Nat Turner turn over the plantation kind of revolt, but they take over a town and fight a bunch of ragtag Confederates.
Right. Yeah. That kind of reminds me of
it was
what
funny.
you've done.
It was funny because there was a little tiny bit of that just even in my thought process when I wrote this film, because I remember one of the producers of my movie is Reginald Hudlin, who is a director who directed House Party, Boomerang. And we were talking about another movie that dealt with slavery, and he was talking about how he didn't care for it. He said, movie made with the best intentions in the world, but ultimately it's unsatisfying. And he was giving the reasons why he thought it was unsatisfying. And he goes, look, even though this movie was made with the best intentions in the world, as far as black folks are concerned, The Legend of Nigger Charlie is far more empowering.
Can I guess that the movie was Amistad, and the reason he didn't like it was because it focused too much on the white heroes?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Wow. Look at Jimmy Norton.
Jimmy.
I can't think of any of the modern day slavery movies.
Check out the big brain on Jim.
Very good.
Boy.
I was amazed that the slavery was addressed so, like, you didn't trivialize it. Like, even though there was big laughs, and I mean funny with fucking harsh language, that when you went to one of those horrifying scenes, like just say there's a hot box scene, which I didn't even know existed back then, it's horrifying and it's gut-wrenching, but it doesn't feel manipulative. It doesn't feel like you're trying to make people cry. It really feels like you're giving an honest picture.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and that sequence, because, who's in the hot box is Django's woman, who he's going to rescue, played by Kerry Washington, Broomhilda. And, there it's kind of a two-thing situation is going on. He's gone to the pit of hell to extract her from this place in Mississippi, where, like, as far as I'm concerned, all of antebellum South is hell, but Mississippi is the asshole of hell. All right? And he goes down there, and when they sees that she's in the hot box, shit is even worse than he thought it was. But at the same time, it also tells the audience she's in the hot box because she tried to escape. She's tried to get out of here. She can't.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah, it was just really chilling.
That's
and
brutal.
And
yeah.
I love the fact that the laughs would come after there was an immediately a sad scene, and I can't understand as a writer how you take that risk. I know you've addressed that already, but like, what balls to put, like, Don Johnson is Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Some of the lines he had coming from the top of the steps got laughs.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, holy shit!
Well, it's kind of funny, all right. When when he's addressing the slave girl to show Django around the grounds, and he has to remind her that Django isn't a slave, that he's a free man. But she doesn't quite understand the concept. All right. So he's trying to explain it to her. And she goes, "What, you mean you want us to treat him like white folks?" "No, that's not what I said."
I got a huge laugh.
Of course it was.
What a great line.
Hilarious. Oh, my God. Is that difficult for an actor to, spew out horrid racial epithets? And even though you're acting, but there's such sensitivity in this day and age with race, to stand there right in front of somebody that's black and to be just blurting out racial epithets. Is that difficult as an actor?
Well, I guess if it was difficult for them, I probably wouldn't have cast them. I mean, we're all doing a job. We all know why we're there. Everybody has read the script. I mean, Sidney Poitier used to actually talk about that. His first big movie was a movie called No Way Out with Richard Widmark, and in that movie, Richard Widmark just says the most vile stuff to him. And Richard Widmark was one of the biggest liberals of the 50s, and he proved it by constantly starring in movies with Sidney Poitier. But in that film, he would like, "Oh, I'm really," they'd do a take and he'd say everything, and then there would be a cut. "Oh, I'm sorry, Sidney."
Really?
And Sidney Poitier had like, "I read the script."
Yeah, if it was a surprise.
I didn't just show up and we were just freestyling. I read the script.
Yeah, Richard Widmark was ad-libbing the script.
At craft services.
Just thought I'd throw it in.
Yeah, but it's like, it's the kind of, if you're gonna, you would be the wrong person to play the role if you're going to be that self-conscious about it. Your job isn't to apologize to the people around you. Your job is to be that guy. And to channel him and be his spokesperson, good or bad.
That's got to be an actor's mind, though, because it just seems like it's such a sensitive issue that it would just feel odd to do that.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's like, it's one thing to do it opposite the other actors in the film and everything. Like I said, we've gone through rehearsal. We all know what we're doing.
Right, yeah.
All right. But to keep that mindset of your character, I'm not talking about some like, I'm in character all the time. You have to talk to me like this way, that way. I'm not talking about that. But just, you're not trying to break out of the mindset. You're trying to keep in the mindset. We have a whole bunch of black crew members to actually not apologize for your character, because it's not your job to apologize for your character.
Sure.
To not apologize for your character and to just kind of keep the course there, even with everyone around. That takes a lot of integrity, and it takes a lot of artistic focus.
Can I tell you who was, and I mean brilliant, and I fell in love with him again, and he was repulsive. His character, DiCaprio, plays a repulsive guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the way it's just because he's Leo DiCaprio talking to these actors in this scene like that with just such like you said, like they were pieces of furniture. And I know he's an actor, but it was still shocking to see him do it that well.
No, he had just an incredible amount of focus for that character. I mean, I think he needed that focus to really get to the heart of that guy because he was just bound and determined that he wasn't going to play a villain. That doesn't mean the guy wasn't a bad guy. He's just not going to be... I'm not here to just serve the function in the movie of playing the bad guy. I'm going to give you who this guy is, and then everyone else can make up their mind. But I have to be true to this guy. And his incredible amount of focus on such a repugnant character, it was really, really commendable.
It sounds like the advice Christoph Waltz gave. There's a scene where Jamie Foxx has to kind of play a black slaver, and they were just the most hated black. And Christoph Waltz says, well, then he's like, I don't know how to play this. He goes, well, play this guy dirty, or play him how you think he should be played.
Yeah, he's like, they're horrible. That's the worst. Well, then do that. Give me that guy. Give me the worst guy you've ever met. Okay, I can do that.
you get great performances from these actors.
Yeah.
Why is that, you think?
Well,
because it really stands out in a lot of your movies, obviously.
Well, it kind of. I think it's a three-pronged thing. I write good characters. I write interesting characters. Then I cast them well. And but part of casting well is usually, unless I'm writing it for somebody in particular, and sometimes that works out and sometimes that doesn't. It's about the character first. It's not the actor first. I don't have an obligation to give a groovy actor a role. I have an obligation to find the best person to play my character. They're my characters. They came from deep in my DNA, and I want them to have the perfect person to play them. I'm not writing theater where everybody for the next 20 years gets a crack at it. This is it.
But I think what you're saying there is other directors break down and they go with the groovy guy.
Yeah, well, it's kind of easy to do. It's almost the whole industry seems to be heading that way, and usually the groovy guy is groovy for a reason. So all well and good. But if you really want it to be magical, like, say, Christoph Waltz as Londa, then it's got to be a focus where I'm looking for the right guy, and only the right guy will do. And then you just add to the fact that, I know how to deal with actors. For lack of a better word, I speak actor talk. So I know how to get the best out of them and take care of them.
Yeah. The fact that this amazing fantasy world that feels realistic is the star of the movie is Christoph. He's a German dentist who speaks with a German accent, and he and an ex-slave are running around killing white people. It's like, you never would think that could be a masterpiece of a film, and then the way you've written it was absolutely believable, even though it seemed like these crazy things put together.
Well, there is, kind of one of the tricks of the film is, the movie really is, it's the most linear of all my stories. I don't kind of hop around.
Oh, okay.
I don't do the separate chapter thing where I'm trying to hitting it from different points of view, or try to bring other characters and everything converges later, or effing with the time scheme. This was a journey. You have to kind of follow Django from page 1 to page 170 and really go on that journey with it if it's going to really work. But one of the things about that journey is the first hour is kind of fun. All right, the first hour, it's kind of like a Butch and Sundance kind of teamwork that's going on. And then that's when but then after that's over and, Django's got his bona fides, so to speak, now he's ready to go into the hell of Mississippi to extract his woman. And that's when things starts getting tough.
Mm-hmm. And what did you talk about casting actors? Don Johnson, what an odd choice. Like, what was it that he had done in the past that you go, this guy is perfect to play this horrible slave master?
Oh, well, see, actually, I've always been a big fan of Don Johnson. I mean, like 10 years before Miami Vice. When I was a little boy, I would, see some actor like on a TV show or something, and I would like them. I get to know who they were. I'd get their name, and I'd see their name in the TV guide, and I would watch their movies or watch it when they guested on Hawaii Five-0 or something like that and follow their careers. And sometimes they actually became stars, frankly. But I was always a big fan of Don Johnson. He did a movie, he did a really great car movie in the 70s called Return to Macon County with him and Nick Nolte, and he was terrific in it. He was the star of A Boy and His Dog, which is a great cult movie.
Yeah.
And he did all kinds of TV movies, all through the 70s. So I was always a big fan of his. I always thought he could have been a star then. It just didn't work out. Then he hit big with Miami Vice, and I've always just been a fan of his. So he came in and read, and he was perfect for it.
That's strange because I understand what you were saying about I would watch TV, see somebody, and for some reason I'd be like, that's that person from the bologna commercial. Yeah, like I would know that's that person. It's like, and you'd know him, but they'd pop up in other shows, and you'd be like, yeah, okay. And for some reason, I always thought that was kind of a special thing to be able to recognize that. And someone's going, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, you don't understand.
Well, oddly enough, it was funny because, when I was a really, really little boy, like, 4 or something like that, I'd watch TV or movies with my stepfather. Now, I didn't know anything about movies. I'm 4. I don't have a backlog yet. All right. So, my... watching it with my stepdad Curtis, and so we're watching some movie, and he goes, "Okay, Quentin, you see that guy right there? It's Thomas Mitchell. He was the father in the original Swiss Family Robinson from the 30s, not the Disney one we saw. All right, but the original one. Oh, really? Huh? And then we see some other. Oh no, see that's Roddy McDowall. He's a really good actor. I like him, but he was the star even when he was a little boy. He did a movie called National Velvet. You would like. I thought my stepdad was a movie genius because he just could point people on the TV and know their names. Well, we can all do that.
He was kind of the Leonard Maltin guy.
Yeah. And he can point out the people he knows and he likes.
Right.
But I actually thought, I guess that's what happens is when you get to be an adult, you become a movie genius. So I better start, preparing.
Right.
And that's how it began.
Did you ever have to explain who you're casting? Like some people going, well, look, Quentin, that person's a weird choice. Like now I couldn't imagine anyone second-guessing your fucking choices on who you're picking as actors. You've pretty much proven you know what you're doing. But has it been earlier, like, really? That guy?
No. Especially with the way I was doing it. I mean, the most famous example is John Travolta.
Absolutely.
Nobody in the studio wanted John Travolta. And not only that, it was considered a really hot script. Mm-hmm. And at that time, when he was turning everything down, Daniel Day-Lewis expressed interest in playing Vincent. And I like Daniel Day-Lewis, but I really wanted John. I had my heart set on him. And it's one thing. It's one thing to want the guy who's out of fashion when nobody else wants it.
Right.
But when there's actually a hot guy you can get, and you want to go with, the guy from the 70s, the guy from Barbarino.
Right. I want Vinnie Barbarino.
I want Barbarino. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, that's...
How'd you talk him into it? Because I'm sure there was some pushback.
Yeah, it was finally... the truth of it was kind of a two-pronged thing. One was the fact I was just kind of tough on it insofar as they really wanted to do the movie. And I just said, look, if I want to go this way, and if you don't agree that this is the way to go, then maybe we shouldn't make this movie together. I should maybe make it with somebody else because we just kind of just don't agree. And it wasn't a take it or leave it kind of situation. Right. It was like, look, I think he's a terrific actor. I think what you should do is you should watch him and Brian De Palma's Blowout. And if you don't think he's a terrific actor, then maybe we should talk about, should we do this movie together? That's one way of doing it. All right. It wasn't a threat. It was just that we're just not really on the right page. And you're not coming up with anybody else.
Right.
That is a legitimate alternative as far as I'm concerned. And so it kind of was that. But then also, frankly, once we got Bruce Willis, then it was like we had our big movie star.
Right.
We had our big movie star. It was a big role. It wasn't a cameo. And so, okay, here we go.
Throw him in there. We'll let.
And Bruce was down. Bruce was down with John and everyone. And so
so interesting how things worked out, right?
Was it
little
Blowout?
connections.
Yeah.
Was it Blowout that turned you on? Because I was going to ask you, what did you see John in that even gave you an inkling that he could do that part? Because I had never really seen him in anything that would give me the impression that he could have pulled off Vince Vega.
Well, actually, I don't think there's anything about his character in Blowout that's similar to Vince Vega.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's just it's a really good performance.
Right. Okay.
I mean, frankly, to tell you the truth, Vince Vega is kind of close to Barbarino a little bit. All right. Yeah. If it's closer to any of his characters, it's Barbarino.
Barbarino murdered the sweat house.
I think Vince Vega is a little smarter than Barbarino, all right, but not drastically. But John Travolta is a really good comedian, and it's a funny movie.
Yeah.
It's a comedy, but literally, his timing on Welcome Back Kotter was really fantastic. He's a really good comedic actor. So, frankly, it's growing up watching him as Welcome Back Kotter. But also, not only that, though, aside from just that, there was this aspect. John Travolta is a movie star. Just because everyone in Hollywood had forgotten about it, that just shows how dumb they are.
Oh, that's true.
I actually walked down the street with John Travolta at his lowest ebb in pre-production of the movie, and people would lose their minds when he see him. We'd walk into a regular restaurant and we had to leave.
Grease, Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, people,
huge.
The tourists in Hollywood would see him and just lose their mind. It's like, people are dying to see him in something worth watching. It's just stupid Hollywood that doesn't realize it.
Wow, yeah. That's absolutely what the situation was.
Well, actually kind of, similar to the gigantic response that Liam Neeson got when he did Taken. People just been waiting for him to be in a movie they could see. It's just Hollywood wasn't smart enough to know it.
You liked Taken, right?
Actually, I haven't seen Taken, frankly, to tell you the truth.
Right.
I didn't care for it.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I was wondering. Hey, Stephen Philly in capital letters, so we have to ask this. Ask him why Kurt Russell and Sacha Baron Cohen dropped out of the new movie here.
Basically what happened was, in the case of Sacha Baron Cohen, he's a great guy, and I'd love to work with him. It was simply the fact that I ended up dropping that sequence. It was a scene I just knew, this will never make the movie. Yeah. And I don't have the days and the time and the money to spend on something that I know is going to get dropped from the editing room. So I had to call him and just let him know, look, it's just not going to work out. I just know the scene ain't going to make the finished film. The movie's too long as it is. So that was why that worked out. And then with Kurt is a great guy and he's a good friend. I knew I was going to have to cut his character way down.
Oh, okay.
I'd already done a lot of the movie. I knew how much I pretty much had left, and if I was going to lose it from anywhere, it would have been from his character. So I kind of let him know. Look, the part was it 5 months or 6 months after I'd given him the role, we'd been doing the movie for a long time. So now we're getting into the tail end, is where he would be coming in, and I just knew it was going to be shortened so much. So I gave him I told him that, laid it out to him, and we just decided maybe this is not the one.
Did the character make the final cut?
Oh yeah, it's Walt Goggins' character.
Which
Oh, he was the guy, the castration guy, the Billy Crash.
Oh God, that guy was great.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Oh, that's a horrifying fucking scene. Horrifying.
I love this inside stuff.
Yeah. Kurt Russell probably should have taken that, even though that guy was great, because that was an amazing character. He was dark. Who was hateable in the movie? Again, brilliant. I didn't recognize Samuel Jackson until his mouth opened and he spoke. I didn't know it was him.
Oh, really?
And he was, again, repugnant, his character. So well played. I've never hated him in a movie before.
Oh, Sam he's the theatrical beast in this movie. He comes in and just takes hold of the movie, and you really it just grabs your attention and never lets go.
Yeah, you really want to fucking burn him alive in this movie. He's a terrible guy. And you kind of understand why he is the way he is. But I didn't think you could hate him.
Is there any feet in this movie?
No, not really.
Oh, none?
A lot of poor black blistered feet walking through mud and rocks.
No cute feet.
Well, that doesn't make you happy,
no,
sir.
not at all.
That means you're really dedicated to your work. I thought you would have pretty feet in this movie.
I've always wondered if you ever expand on a story with no intention of it going anywhere but your own satisfaction. I'll give you an example. I was watching Pulp Fiction, and of course Zed is laying on the floor bleeding from the crotch, and he is ready to have some serious shit put down on him. Did you ever expand upon what happens to him after Butch leaves and the hard pipe hitting niggas do show up?
Yeah.
Did you ever dwell on that yourself? Do you ever do that?
Oh, well, I usually ask myself certain questions about. I actually think the movie keeps on going on after the scene stops.
Exactly.
That's absolutely. I mean, in that case, I didn't take it out to the complete scenario of exactly what they did, for the next 90 minutes or 3 hours or whatever, and how they disposed of the body, or how many different pieces the body was in when they were finished. But it did involve pliers and a blowtorch.
Right. Yeah. And you can only imagine
what Anthony's telling you is that he puts a ball in his own mouth. and wax off thinking about being bent over a sawhorse.
Oh, and that, by the way, that's another thing that I've always been curious about, and you rarely get the chance to speak to the guy. I noticed with the ball gags, Bruce Willis had his a lot further in his mouth than Ving did. Did Ving have a gagging problem? Because it really was much further out in his mouth.
I didn't really clock that, I have to say. I will check that out next time.
Please do. That should make the bloopers reel. When you do something like this and you start to hear controversy swirling around language, do you ever think bad press is going to hurt you, or do you think that any press for the film is okay? Or do you ever have like those panic moments that we get?
Well, I mean, this kind of movie is a hot potato, so you got to be prepared for that going in, or else you're just you're just completely unawares. But I don't really take any of that seriously. I mean, for the thing is, the movie's a lightning rod. It's going to get criticism and it's going to get praise. All right, so some people will like it and some people won't. That's fine. Where I'm coming from, if you have a problem with it, it's just a movie. Don't go see it.
Right.
Else, but at the same time, it's the flashpoint of right now. Yeah, the movie's controversial because it's coming out right now and everyone's talking about it. It's at the forefront of everyone's mind because there's a big pre-release going on to it. And that's what's kind of put under a microscope. But that all goes away. 7 months from now, it's going to be on Showtime. How fucking you'll be watching it in your living room at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. How fucking controversial can it be?
Exactly. It's not made to pander to anything either. It's not. You're not putting things in it to be like, I'm going to shock some people here. It's part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, it's
legitimately.
Like, yeah, I mean, literally, I'm sure this movie won't get a touch of the controversy that, say, Ken Russell got when he did The Devils, when it was released, in particularly like in England, or any Clockwork Orange or anything like that. But then after that flashpoint is over, now we live in a world where Django Unchained already exists. Deal with it.
Right. Like I said, in your living room at 4 in the afternoon.
Right, yeah.
Are there any scenes that make you want to, like, there's one scene in the movie that makes me uncomfortable I can think of. It's the rape scene in Irreversible. Makes me uncomfortable to watch. I mean, I'll watch it, but it's so horrific. Is there anything you watch scene-wise that kind of affects you like that?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, no. There's hard stuff to watch for sure. And and whenever I've seen anything that was like really repugnant and it's really turned me off. Yeah, I'll call it that. I don't say they don't have the right to do it, but I don't like it. And I don't ever need to watch it.
Right.
But I actually do think, for the most part, uncomfortable that's a good adjective to describe for that. I actually think, when people start using, I was offended by this, I was offended by that, I kind of feel about that the way patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel. I think offense is the last refuge of a small mind.
Yeah.
Fuck being offended. What are you talking about? It's a movie. You like it, you don't like it. You don't want to watch it, you want to watch it. Uncomfortable is definitely unpleasant, and I don't want to subject myself to it. Fair enough. But fuck you in offense.
But offended.
Fuck you.
The kind of thing that, because I watched this, I wasn't offended by it at all. I recognized how brilliantly it was acted and how great that was that they did that, but it made me fucking cringe to just the graphic nature of that rape. I was like, that was just well done.
And then there is there is this thing like that where he knows, that's Gaspar Noé. He knows exactly what he's doing with that, and that movie's not made for everybody. It's made for the people who can go on that journey. Something else like that could be. I mean, I love this movie, by the way, and I love this sequence. But I watch it burn audiences down like crazy. Is Takashi Miike's Audition? Have you ever seen that? The Japanese movie?
No.
Audition? Oh, it's one of the really, really strong movies. Strong and quite a masterpiece, actually. That's come out in the last 20 years. You guys should definitely check it out. But one of the things, especially, I mean, it's not the same thing watching it on DVD. Watching it in a room full of strangers, this sequence towards the end gets so fucking rough, and he hasn't prepared you for it at all, which is kind of the genius of it. Right. But you actually feel the audience getting madder.
Wow.
And madder. Like there's going to be a riot, maybe. And there's and then all of a sudden And he's done it in a few different movies, so it's not just a happy accident. He did it in the movie called Ichi the Killer. After daring the audience to actually attack the screen and, charge the projection room and burn the prints, he does this one little tiny thing, and the whole audience laughs.
Wow. Oh, shit.
And then from that point on, you get it. And from that point on, you see it through different glasses. And it's actually, what we were talking about, my stuff, it's one of the wildest leaps I've ever seen anyone do as far as orchestrating an audience. You guys should check it out.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name again?
Audition.
Right.
Audition.
Okay. Oh, Audition.
Is there any scene that you've tried to do that with in any of your films that you look back and you go, wow, I wish I would have made that transition a little bit better, or that didn't get the reaction in the final cut that I kind of wanted it to?
No, not in those terms. And I've never quite gone quite to the level of grotesquerie, all right, that he goes in this, in that. I've just, I'm just, I'm greedy. All right, so if I want people to cheer Django at the end, if they're not cheering loud enough, I'm mad at them.
Right. Right.
How many movies do you see a week these days?
Well, these days, hardly anything, actually. All right, yeah, because I've been making this movie for a long time, and we literally just kind of finished it about 2 weeks ago.
But when you're in between movies, just doing more.
Oh, I see a lot of movies.
How many a week would you say?
I don't really count it out like that, but a lot. I mean, I go to the movies, and I'm also, I watch stuff. I have a big video collection, big DVD collection, and I'm taping movies off of television. I mean, one of the things that I actually like to do is I like getting on a kick, getting on, liking a director, or an actor or a subgenre or something, and then just diving into their oeuvre, all right, for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks,
wow, yeah.
and just watching all their movies and making notes about them, and
wow.
It's like I'm going, and it's fun. Then I get over it and make my notes and put them aside, and then go on to the next thing.
I make a drink. Making notes. I'm just. It's a great movie. I'm a zilch.
I'm usually watching it with a Jack Daniels and soda water.
I think we got to wrap up.
Yes, they're telling us we have to wrap it up.
There's the guy with the vaudeville hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to do my big acting audition for Quentin, too. I'll have to do it next time.
Oh,
I'm
Jimmy.
fucking terrific. All right. I love this movie. I loved Django. It was brilliant and funny and sad, and it was everything. It's one of the best things you've ever done. And emotionally, I think by far it's the best thing I've ever seen you do.
Oh, thanks a lot, man.
I really mean that. It's like I cannot believe the reaction from one scene to the next. Totally unpredictable. And, I mean, what can you say? It's out Christmas,
25th.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Competing with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, an amazing movie.
Yep.
Amazing movie.
Great. Quentin, goddamn, always fun to have you in here,
Always
man.
a blast coming
Love
with
it.
you guys.
Love
Absolutely. I think we're done. You need anything, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah, my pre-sale for my show with Artie Lang, Amy Schumer, and David Tell goes on sale today. It's February 17th in the Borgata. So, or February 11th, whatever it is. Password is antisocial.
Yeah. Tell Amy Schumer I have a bit of a crush on her.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure.
I'm filming a little something with her tomorrow, so
Okay.
I'll let her know.
Yeah, you let it go.
I'll let her know.
Yeah.
He's making a snuff film with her. She doesn't know it yet.
It's not going to get better than that. Quentin Tarantino, thank you, sir.